Hello guys, welcome back to another movie review, and today we are reviewing A Different Man. A Different Man is a new movie that is starring Sebastian Stan, and he is out, well, he's got two movies out in the UK this month. This one as well as The Apprentice, where he is playing two very interesting characters. In the one coming up soon, The Apprentice, he's going to play Donald Trump, which that review is going to come very soon on the channel, so stay tuned for that. But in this movie, he plays Guy Moratz, or basically Edward Lamel, who is alter ego and changed his name to Guy Moratz. Now, he is a different man in terms of he goes from one version of himself into another version of himself. He is very disfigured and basically has, lost all confidence in himself. He's got a lot of growths on his face, etc. And he is a totally different person, in terms of that. And he has an opportunity to go on this radical medical experiment, I guess, that can drastically transform his face. Ultimately, he basically kills off, in effect, Edward Lamel and becomes Guy Moratz. He becomes this different person. And then because of that, then leads him into all of the people that was in his life. They're like, well, where's Edward gone? What's happened to Edward? Well, Edward died. I'm his friend. Like, people don't recognize him because the transformation has been that drastic. It's just been that chaotic in terms of who he was and who he is now. I gotta say, Sebastian Stan, for me, gave the performance of his career. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything as good as this. It is a little bit lower than what I would say an elite movie. It does have some pacing issues, some set issues, all of that. But I feel like it does lack in some areas of expertise. Now, for me, as I say, Sebastian Stan really does elevate this movie for me, and that's where the score for me is. I gave it a 4-star overall, and it's because, as I say, Sebastian Stan gives the performance of his career. He turns from one character into another and really deals with the potential, the struggle that you would have in real life of going from that person and being this other person. And it's a really interesting concept movie that I think was executed really well. But I think the only reason this was a very convincing story to me was because of Sebastian Stan. Because I think if anyone else played this role, it probably wouldn't have been as great. The main principle in the movie, though, is he has like this friend across the hallway. I think her name is Ingrid, and she is basically an aspiring, theatre person. So she wants to write a play, and ultimately she writes a play on Edward. And Guy is obviously a stranger to her. She doesn't know who Guy is. Guy auditions for the role of Edward, and he finds it difficult to actually be like, this is actually me. And it's a really powerful movie because by the end of it, he kind of has some realizations on what he craved for before in terms of craving to be beautiful, I guess. Wasn't actually the best thing for him ultimately in the end. He craved something, and by the end of it, he probably wished he was where he was before, which you wouldn't have thought at the beginning. And that all came from Sebastian Stan, I think, given that performance of his career, which really, grabbed your heartstrings, really, because you felt for Edward as a character. You felt for him as a person, even though he's not real and this is on the big screen and all of that. You really did feel for the person who he was portraying. And as I say, that is down to Sebastian Stan given the performance of his career. So I gave it a 4-star. I think it's a fair score for me. I wish I could have slightly gave it a better score, but I think it just had a low budget feel about the movie. It didn't really execute some of the things that it could have done really well. It could have done a bit better. That might be because of the director, who is Aaron Schimberg, who is quite inexperienced. This probably is one of his biggest budgeted movies of the 4 that he's done. Seem very indie kind of movies, but it could be that. It could be his inexperience, maybe not having the right contacts of people in the industry. It could have been a bit better, but as I say, I think it missed something for me. Maybe a bit of pacing, maybe a bit of the transformation aspect. But Sebastian Stan for me was that real person that held the glue of this movie together. And as I say, I said it again, he gave the performance of his career. So there it is. There is my review of A Different Man. I 100% will recommend this movie to anyone that wants to watch it. It is a really powerful movie. It has some really emotional and powerful scenes in there. And it also does a lot of things really well that I think anyone needs to check out. As I say, we've all seen Sebastian Stan in the Marvel universe, and this is where certain actors in these big franchises, they lose that skill of why they were an actor in the first place because they get a high budget role, obviously, and all that. This shows why he is a good actor, and I'm glad he's getting roles like this after being on a big budget thing like the MCU, obviously, because it's now going to transfer into other projects for him down the road, of course. But there it is. There's my review of A Different Man. Let me know your thoughts down below. Have you seen it? Are you going to see if you're interested? Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned for more. See you in the next one. Goodbye.